My name is Erin and my pronouns are she, her.
I'm Freya and I use she, her pronouns.
I describe it as old school 90s to 2000s Lolita.
So I wear sweet Lolita fashion, which is it's a Harajuku fashion. Started in Japan in the 90s.
I'm in high school right now, so I don't really have a major, but I'd like to study urban planning.
I studied sociology at university and now I work for the Citizens Advice Bureau.
It's a tough one. This is a big problem with Lolitas, but they probably think it's like we're trying to dress like kids. We're trying to look like children, which is not the point. The point is just to dress in a feminine way and have fun with it. Like people might think that I want attention, which like I have social anxiety, which is like the opposite of what I want. I just want to wear my funny clothes and live my life.
Well, I feel like with this style specifically, it's femininity, yeah, but it's femininity that's very outside of the norm. I mainly get people who they don't know why someone would choose to dress out of the ordinary, especially in a style that a lot of people do associate it with like little girls. One, when in the last 150 years have you seen a child willing to be dressed up like this? And two, I wear angelic pretty. That costs a lot of money. Children are not notorious for having a lot of money.
Two come to mind. Once I was out in, there's this marketplace. I was there, and I was talking with this jewelry shop owner, and he went, "I like your costume," and I was like, "Yeah." I didn't feel like explaining to him. It was near Halloween. In my head, I was like, "It's not a costume. This is just how I dress." But yeah, another time, I was talking with some classmates, and this is more like a feminine interest, not my style. And I learned that one of them likes anime, and I was like, "Oh, I like anime too." And he was like, "Oh, what do you do?" And I was like, "Oh, I play video games. Like, I play games and stuff." He was like, "Oh, what kind of games?" And I was like, I can't tell him that I play like rhythm games, because like the game itself is made for women to play. And so if I told him the game, he'd be like, "What the fuck is this?" Can I curse?
Just get all people thinking I'm younger than I am. I always carry my ID with me everywhere when I'm dressed like this. One time, a girl in my Lolita fashion community, or com, was wearing like the same style wig, the same style of dress, and she got ID'd buying glue, like liquid glue. She is 28 years old.
I think it's true. I think there's a certain idea with femininity that it's less valuable, and that it's less serious. Like, it should be taken less seriously. And that it's more, as I said before, shallow. There's a lot of ideas of shallowism when it comes to feminine interests and styles. You know, like fashion. People probably think, "Oh, you're just spending money and buying clothes," but how is it any different from cars? You know, you spend money on cars as well. Or, you know, shoes. I know I have a lot of male classmates who really enjoy shoes. But if I were to talk about fashion with them, I'm sure they'd be like, "Ugh, what are you even talking about?"
My personal thoughts on it are, I feel like society still would say anything that's associated with women as being feminine, like knitting. Clothing making is a valuable skill for society, but it got associated with women. It's devalued. Now, it's happened in the science too. I mean, ever since biology became a majority female subject, it happened in the field of law too. It's happened with family law, which is something that is also women majority, and people think, and I've heard people saying, "Oh, but that's not real law, is it?" Like, especially the clothes thing. People think that just because I dress like this means I want to be an empty-headed little Barbie doll. And by wearing this super feminine fashion, I want to break down those barriers, because women are complex people.
I think it's just because I enjoy it. It's fun. You know, there's a lot of fun to it. And it just... I don't think too deeply about it when I do it. I just feel good doing it. It makes me happy. And at the end of the day, I think my own personal happiness is what's most important to me. I'm not hurting anyone. You know, as long as I'm not hurting anyone, I hope, then I'm just going to continue pursuing what I like.
I feel like I embrace femininity, but especially femininity in this way. One, because it's objectively cool. Like, look at me, I've got giant hair. I look like a sweet, and I love sweets. Sweets are amazing. I like these colours. I like these patterns. The other reason is going back to my topic of femininity outside the norm. I do look outside the norm. I don't fit in with everyone else, and I like that. It asserts something about my identity. Another reason I also like it is because I'm a lesbian. I don't want anything to do with men whatsoever, and I find a lot of men are quite repulsed by this. They want women to be sexy for them or whatever. They want women to look a certain way. And the fact that a woman is daring to go outside in clothes that are distinctly not sexy or not appealing to them in any way, it's horrific to them. I'm avoiding male gaze, and I don't want men to be looking at me as sexually. I want to repulse them. And then there's the flip side of some men who have a weird fetish who are into this stuff. For that, I would just like to. Well, I have plenty of words, but I think you might have to censor some of them. So.
Go out with a banger and hide it. And sexism.
I think everyone should embrace their feminine sides a little bit more. I think it's just repressing a side of you that will, at the end of the day, probably make you more happy is not very healthy, in my opinion. And even if you don't have a feminine side, just let others embrace it. You know, let people have fun. We're on this earth once. Let's just have fun.
Live, laugh, love.
I'm trying to think of something good to say. I really want to say something like women are strong, go women, but that's quite possibly the most straight feminist phrase I could possibly think of. It sounds like I am parodying feminism on a sitcom. So instead, give me 2 seconds, I'll think of something intelligent. I just want to say, like, there's no right or wrong way to be a woman. There's no right or wrong way to look and still be a woman. So just wear whatever you want. If you want to look like a sweet princess or whatever, you do that. If you want to be goth, you do that. If you want to shave your head and wear purple clothes, that's fantastic. Don't be afraid of society's perceptions of what you look like, what you're going to be characterised as, what the reactions are going to be. Just do what makes you happy. Oh, to quote Kamikaze Girls, which is a famous movie about Lolita fashion and also Yankee fashion, a different fashion movement in Japan. If it makes you happy, do it.